welcome to my, I guess this is technically my March, what I read in March wrap up. As soon as I started this video, my cat decided to go insane, and there are 4 million sirens outside the house currently. So, that's fine. We'll get on with it. Oh my god. So, I wanted to talk about my March read specifically because I read a lot of weird stuff in March. So, I just wanted to take a moment and look at those books and be like, wow, why did I read that? So let's get started. So to start off this menagerie of madness that I read in the past month, I read The Deep by Nick Cutter. And if you don't know who Nick Cutter is, he wrote The Troop, which is a very special book on this channel. And it was okay. I gave pretty much every single one of these books on this list a solid 3 stars. But I didn't find it as entertaining as The Troop. I just kind of found it gross and weird, but it didn't have the same charm that The Troop had for me. And it sounds weird to say The Troop had any charm, but you know, it is what it is. And there's my cat attacking me. Hi, Athena. What are you doing? Athena? Nice. So you're gonna see a theme about these books that I read this month. Basically, I have a friend who is like, here's a list of like really weird books that were brought up on Book Talk, and so I read them all. I read all the ones she sent me, and I think I see where the fire trucks are. Why is there always a car accident whenever I make videos? Yeah, I read every book that she sent me on the list, so don't judge me for these. I didn't necessarily choose to read them. I was just kind of like, wow, that's a messed up book that you've sent me, and I sure did read it. The next book that I read was The Dare by Harley Laroux. This book was weird, and I gave it 3 stars because it was weird. It wasn't weird enough to be entertaining, really. I might actually move that review down to 2 stars. It was just weird, and I don't recommend it. It was just weird. Like, don't read it. Don't. Yeah. I mean, you can. If you want a really weird book to read, here you go. It's weird. It's not the worst thing I've read in this specific genre of books, but it is certainly interesting. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. The next book I read this month was a bit more on brand, and that was House of Breath and Sky by Sarah J. Maas. I could not finish this book for the life of me. I don't know if it's because I've been reading more strongly written fantasy lately, and the more fleshed out characters in other books, but I could not stand Bryce in this book. Even though I loved her in House of Earth and Blood, for some reason she doesn't work for me anymore. And neither does Hunt, even though Hunt pretty much never worked for me. Basically, I read this book and I was like, damn, this is way too many pages of stuff that I don't care about. So I pretty much DNF'd at like 50% and left it at, I think I gave this 3 stars just to leave it at that, because I was like, I might like this at a different time, but I honestly don't see any point in my life where I'm gonna finish this book. This one was exciting. This was my first Junji Ito story collection, and I thought this was actually really good. I found it to be really fun and really creepy, and I feel like his work has improved, but I am really excited to read more of his work. So this would be his older work, and although I did find it really enjoyable, I have hope that his newer work might be a bit more like cohesive. I did find the stories to be a little bit like they didn't end particularly in an interesting way. Athena, please stop knocking over my crystals. Please. So, I really like this book. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm really looking forward to reading his other work, especially his newer stuff. I think that he's very talented at what he does. No, that's plastic, don't eat that. This video is going well. Ignore the basket of completely wet laundry in the background because we ran out of laundry money and didn't notice until we had already washed the laundry. So it's just sitting there until we have laundry money. The next book I read was Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which I also DNF'd. So it's also the second book in a series that I really enjoyed the first book, but didn't really care for the second one. I just didn't care. I was getting very annoyed with the time skipping in this one. I know it happens in the first book too, but the way it was handled in this one was a lot more irritating to me. I just couldn't follow the story at all. So I pretty much just got tired of it about, I think it was 60% of the way through. I was just bored of it and didn't finish it. The first book is still really, really good to me though, and I don't see that ever changing. Now here's the book that inspired this reading month. Because if you remember, at some point last year, I read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. And that book lives rent-free in my head every day since I've read it. So I wanted to read Eric LaRocca's other work to see how badly this person needs therapy. And it's pretty badly. Like, please get therapy. But also, your work is pretty good, and I like it. It's just, wow. Therapy? Question mark? But at the same time, like, your work's good. I enjoy it. It's fun. This was a lot more fun than Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. This was a lot more based in horror, where I found Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke was more based in not romance, but the spicy side of romance that was weird. And there's no, well, there's worms. The best part about reading this book is the characters that shows up has the same name as one of my closest friends, and every time I was reading about it, I would send her what her character was doing, and I was like, oh, you got a girlfriend. And then immediately after I sent that to her, I was like, oh wait, you're dead, you're a ghost. You turned into a human machine centipede and you tried to kill your girlfriend. And her response to that was like, yeah, that checks out. So I don't know, that memory of reading this book was honestly great. It was good, I loved it. But I ended up giving this book a 3 stars. I thought it was really fun. I believe that disturbing books should be disturbing, regardless of how people feel about them. I feel like if someone is writing a disturbing book and you go into it and you dislike it because it was disturbing, that's not very fair to the writer, because obviously it did its job. I honestly feel like if that's what the author's going for and they've succeeded, that's not a fair reason to see this as a bad book. I enjoyed it. I thought what it did was really good, and I'm excited to read his other work, honestly. But yeah, I read a lot of weird books this month, and I don't know how to feel about any of this. This is just, it makes sense, it's on brand for me. I tend to read weird books whenever I'm going through a challenging time, so I read some weird books and I really enjoyed them, and I also didn't enjoy them, and most of them got 3 stars. I think all of them got 3 stars, other than the Junji Ito Deserter manga. But that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this very chaotic video, and I will see you again next time. Bye!